Chris Cillizza is a journalist, political commentator, and NewsNation contributor. And Chris Sununu is the former governor of New Hampshire. Great to have both of you with us. Chris, I want to start with you. You say from the moment that Signalgate broke, Mike Waltz was doomed. You say he lasted, as you put it, 9 Scaramucci's. But literally, you said it was just a matter of time.
Yeah, I think it was a when, not if, Elizabeth. Donald Trump does not like when people who work for him get him lots and lots of negative publicity. He does not like when it makes him or his administration look incompetent. And I am mindful that we are all human and we all make mistakes. The problem is there are certain mistakes at certain levels of jobs that are probably unrecoverable. Honestly, I think Donald Trump probably would have preferred to get rid of Mike Waltz sooner than this, but he did not want to give what he perceives as his enemies, he would include the media in that, the sort of satisfaction of running Mike Waltz out of town. I also think, by the way, that's one of the reasons he wound up in that open job for UN ambassador to the UN.
Right. Governor, it seems that Mike Waltz was taken by surprise, even though everybody else looking in seemed to recognize he was on thin ice. He was heaping praise on President Trump yesterday. He showed up for work at the White House this morning. He was doing live shots for news networks, even as the news was beginning to break, that he was out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the way it works. You're kind of the last one to know when you get the pink slip, right? And you know, he wasn't kicked to the mailroom, right? I mean, he's going to become the UN ambassador. That's a very, very significant position within the administration. Probably more suited to his skill set as opposed to putting so much on his shoulders as national security advisor. I mean, the national security advisor is a very big role. A lot of management. There's really no, and Chris hit it right on the head. There's really just no room for mistakes. So this is probably a more fitting role. Trump didn't want to give the critics any sort of win on it, so he kind of slow rolled it a little bit. You know, on a Thursday news day, didn't want to flag it too much. But at the end of the day, it's the right move. And again, remember, a couple of weeks ago, you heard from all the Trump critics, oh, he won't do anything about it. No one's going to get fired over this. He took action. He made a change. It's the right move. And there's no doubt that Secretary Rubio can handle both jobs.
Chris, if President Trump, however, was furious about Signalgate, naming Waltz as ambassador to the UN means there will be a Senate confirmation hearing, and undoubtedly this is going to reopen the whole controversy. All the Democrats will try and make a lot out of it. There's a Pentagon IG investigation going on. Even some Republican members of Congress have been really critical of Mike Waltz on this.
Yeah, I think it's I'm interested to see if it gets that far, or if Republican senators sort of say to the president, this may not be in your or our best political interest, because, yeah, look,
it prolongs the story.
Right, and Democrats have no power in Washington, right? They don't control the White House, they don't control the House, they don't control the Senate, but they can, in a confirmation hearing, ask a lot of really hard questions that Mike Waltz will have to testify under oath to, that may not make the administration look particularly good. That's why I was candidly a little bit surprised that Waltz was put into this other job, because the governor's right. I mean, this isn't a nothing job. I mean, Elise Stefanik wouldn't have taken the job if she thought it was a nothing job. The problem, I think, is that I don't know how thought through this was on the president's end, because, man, those confirmation hearings are going to be a rare chance for Democrats to sort of score major political points, I think, and drag this stuff in the painful details out of Mike Waltz.
Yeah, it won't be pretty if, in fact, it happens. Governor, you just talked about the fact that this is a really big job. Everybody's heard, Americans know what the Secretary of State does. National Security Advisor is a really, really big job. Mike Waltz had tense relationships with other members of Team Trump, including Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, Steve Witkoff, who was Trump's very close friend and now special envoy. And Mike Waltz's worldview differs from a lot of Team Trump's America First worldview.
Yeah, and again, he's not the first one to be kind of moved into a different role, right? Peter Navarro, Ludnick. I mean, there are some other folks there within the White House that have had kind of shifting levels of responsibility as things have gone well or not well. Stephen Miller, I think things have gone very well for Stephen Miller, and he's now more prominent as a voice, kind of laying out a lot of the messaging for. So we're only 100 days in. He's moving folks around. He's making sure, most importantly, and this is really on Susie, she's making sure that the team gels, that there's confidence from the left hand and the right hand have confidence in each other. They can lean on each other. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's still a few more shakeups. That's normal. Nothing would be surprising other than, oh, we're not going to do anything else. This is the last thing we do. It's a new team, a new administration. There's a lot going on. Musk is kind of on his way out, right? So they've done a lot. They're moving fast, and that just means you're always going to be in a kind of an area of flux.
Yeah, Chris, you say there are more shoes to drop.
Yeah, I mean, look, to the governor's point, the most consistent thing about Donald Trump is his, I don't know if it's inconsistency, but his willingness to change around things, right? He is very unpredictable.
I think he called it his flexibility on our town hall last night.
There you go, flexibility. Inconsistency and flexibility. You say potato, I say potato. I think that he views that as a great strength of his, that everyone is kept on their toes at all times. People, even within the administration, as the governor said, rise and fall in terms of his estimation, how much he listens to them, how much he wants them on TV. So I don't think this is anything new. Look, I went back and looked. Donald Trump's turnover in his senior staff in his first year in 2017 was 35%. That's more than double any president from Reagan onward. It's just who the guy is. So you can like it, you can hate it, you can think it's good, you can think it's bad. But it does not strike me that Mike Waltz will be the only cabinet member who is either reassigned or, kicked directly to the curb between now and the end of the year.
All right, we shall see. Chris Cillizza, Governor Chris Sununu, thank you both for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.